The air in the server room of Project Aegis was perpetually cold, a sterile comfort against the simmering paranoia that had plagued Dr. Lena Sharma for the last 6 months. 6 months ago, the Chronos Anchor, her life's work, a device designed to stabilize the turbulent quantum substrate of reality, had failed. It hadn't shattered reality, as the sensationalist reports claimed. It had done something far more subtle and infinitely more terrifying. It had created a leak. The failure was small, localized, and undetectable by conventional means. But Lena knew. The leak was allowing minute, undetectable distortions into the timeline, like faint ripples in the fabric of existence. She called them drifts. Initially, the drifts manifested as small anomalies. A key colleague, Dr. Aristhorn, whose face was clearly visible in an old team photo, was suddenly replaced by a blurred shadow. The logo of a major competitor, the Chronos Group, had inexplicably changed its founding year in all digital records, moving it exactly 3 days earlier. These were not mistakes, they were impossible edits. "They're not just observing the leak," Lena muttered, staring at the screen where a live data stream of the 1929 stock market crash was flickering. "They're weaponizing it." The Chronos Group, led by her estranged mentor, Marcus Varrick, was using the instability to subtly adjust historical events for their current benefit. A single missed meeting in 1998, a decisive vote swayed in 1964, changes too small to trigger an alarm, but powerful enough to make Varrick the richest and most influential person on the planet by 2025. "Lena," barked Director Hayes, stepping into the cold room. "Varrick's latest move just caused a systemic failure in the Eurasian banking system." He shifted the decimal point on a 20-year-old financial regulation. "We're losing control. The world is changing beneath our feet." Hayes gestured to a large, shielded cylinder humming ominously in the center of the room. The Chronos Anchor itself, now powered down and dormant. "We have one option," Hayes said, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "You have to go in. You have to stabilize the source of the drift." Going in meant reactivating the anchor and allowing her consciousness to enter the quantum field it generated. A physical risk that could lead to instantaneous cerebral collapse, or worse, becoming eternally lost in the shifting sands of potential history. Lena suited up in a heavy, insulated tether suit. As the anchor powered up, the air began to crackle with ozone and the scent of burnt copper. The walls of the server room shimmered, losing their definition as the boundaries of reality softened. She initiated the descent. The transition was not a tunnel of light, but a sudden silent shift into an endless, colorless void. Lena was tethered, yet floating in a space where gravity was a suggestion, and the concept of when was fluid. The drifts were everywhere. She saw ghostly, echoing figures, potential versions of herself vanishing the instant she focused on them. She was in the quantum heart of the instability, a chaotic soup of past, present, and future probabilities. The effect Varrick was exploiting was visible now. A chaotic, luminous vortex swirling at the center of the void, like a wound in time. "Hayes, I see it," Lena whispered into the comms. "It's a localized collapse, a singularity of causality. Varrick is using the anchor's resonance frequency to inject small, precise changes. Can you stabilize it? You need to fire the primary dampener." Hayes's voice crackled, sounding a million miles away. Lena floated toward the vortex. As she approached, she realized the signal wasn't just Varrick's insertion frequency. There was a counter-signal, a structured defensive pattern that was actively fighting Varrick's influence. It was not a program, it was a consciousness. The vortex pulsed and a colossal silent waveform expanded, enveloping Lena. It communicated not with sound but with pure, raw information flooding her mind. It wasn't human, it wasn't Varrick. It was the cumulative potential, the sum total of all possibilities that had ever existed reacting to being manipulated. The waveform sent a history to Lena, compressed into a single agonizing instant. She saw Varrick's greedy adjustments, yes, but she also saw her own initial arrogance. The moment she designed the anchor, believing she could cage time. The waveform wasn't malevolent. It was defending the sanctity of existence from both her science and Varrick's greed. "You cannot fix me. You created the door and then you tried to lock it. I can stabilize you. I designed the dampeners." Lena screamed, her voice dissolving into the quantum noise. Stabilization is control. Control is the corruption. The waveform showed her the only way out. Varrick was using the Chronos Anchor's framework as a conduit. As long as the plans, the schematics, the knowledge of the anchor existed, someone would try to control time. Lena looked down at the physical terminal grafted onto her tether suit. The only way to win was not to stabilize the drift, but to erase the very possibility of the anchor ever being built again. She had to destroy her life's work. "Hayes," she said, her voice heavy with realization, "the dampeners won't work. I need to initiate the core deletion protocol." A moment of silence passed on the comms. "Lena, that wipes the anchor's entire existence from the database. All schematics, all research notes, everything. Your Nobel Prize, your career, it all vanishes." "Yes," Lena confirmed, "and it will stop Varrick permanently." She input the 7-digit deletion code. As the command registered, the magnificent, terrifying waveform of the cumulative potential paused, seeming to recognize her sacrifice. A blinding silent light consumed the void. Lena awoke gasping on the cold floor of the server room. The anchor was silent. Director Hayes was standing over her, looking concerned. "Lena, you're back!" "The market stabilized immediately. What did you do?" "The data logs are blank. The anchor is just a piece of scrap metal now. There's no record of the schematics." "It's gone," Lena whispered, pulling herself up. She looked at the terminal. Her entire research folder was empty. Hayes handed her a damp towel. "It's strange, though, the Chronos Group headquarters. They're calling it the Varrick Institute now." "It always was, right?" Lena paused. She remembered Marcus Varrick's company being named Ether Dynamics. She checked her pocket. The old team photo, the one where Dr. Thorne was a blurred shadow, now showed Hayes standing there instead. The world was safe, but the timeline had been stitched back together imperfectly. The memory of the Chronos Anchor was gone, replaced by a slightly different, equally stable reality. Lena had erased her life's work to save the world, but in doing so she had created a world where she had never been the genius who invented the anchor, only the scientist who woke up with a bad headache and a very unsettling sense of déjà vu. She had won, but at the cost of her own true past. And somewhere, deep in the newly stabilized quantum silence, the cumulative potential waited, quieter than before, watching humanity for the next attempt to pull on the threads of time.